Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You already know who it is. It's Aurel, the baddest, the president, and everybody's favorite. Can I get an applause? Period. Anyway, if you're not already a subscriber and this is your first time, hello, how are ya? No shade, you're not gonna get tired of me, because this is a fun community. We're gonna do spontaneous things, such as in this video. But I figured, seeing that, you know, it's the New Year's, I wanted to start with something new. I want to start doing story times on here, because anytime I like tell a story to like my friends or like random people, because I talk a lot, they're like, you should do YouTube video, you should do story times on YouTube. That's not even a bad idea. So yeah, we're here, and yeah, welcome to this new series of story times. I actually want to call it But You Did Say That Though, because I feel like no shade, I think it's self-explanatory. Like, I think the title's self-explanatory, and you know, we always gotta back it up with some proof. So I brought my iPad, we also got my phone, but for this story, none of the messages are showing up on my phone. What I know, hold on, give me one sec. Yeah, none of the messages are on my damn phone, so we always got my iPad and my Mac. Well, we always got the iPad though. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Sit back, get comfortable, get a snack, get a drink, cause no shade, this is gonna be a gag. This is gonna be a gag. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But for today's emoji, comment a book emoji, because I feel like that definitely makes the most sense, because we're telling a story and this one's for the books. Let's get into it. Period. So I posted on my Instagram story asking you guys, hey, like, would you guys want this story time or this story time? And most of you guys wanted the DL Trade story time. No shade. Y'all are messy. Y'all are messy. But I'm a little messier for even bringing the story up, because this is not even that long ago. So yeah. So this story's about my ex DL Trade, and I'm calling him DL Trade because no shade. What do you call him? Like, even after the story, like, I think DL Trade is definitely like the term to use for this. Hey, Aurel here. I actually have two other words we could describe him as. First up, we have repulsive. Self-explanatory, definition's right there. Oh, and my favorite one, libidinous. The definition is also right there. So yeah, deuces. So this story dates back all the way in September this story dates all the way back to September of 2025. I think most of you guys are definitely aware of the app called Wiz. I believe September 18th. September 18th, I downloaded the app because, you know, I felt tea that day. Like, I just took these bomb-ass photos that I posted on my Instagram. Like, bitch, nobody could stop me. So I posted them, obviously, because I look what? Fab as fuck. Period. I look fish. Clock it. So, you know, I downloaded the app. I'm on it. I'm not hitting nobody up, honestly, because no shade, like, I don't chase babes. I attract. Period. But this guy hits me up. He's like, hey. No, he asked me, yo, where'd you get that red shirt from? Like, I need that red shirt. I was like, oh, like, I low-key got it off Shein. Not the point. That's a whole different topic. I got it off Shein. He's like, damn, I'm gonna have to cop or whatever, right? We're having a mutual conversation back and forth, and then, mind you, I had also put my Instagram in my Wiz profile, so it was easy to, like, kind of, like, go find it. So from there, I noticed, like, he was viewing my stories, but he didn't follow me, right? He was not only viewing the stories on my main account, but the Array's Instagram account. I was like, okay, this is a little weird, whatever. I called him out. I was like, if you're gonna view my stories, like, at least follow, like, I'm trying to get to know you, Zaddy. Like, what? Y'all hear something? New things out. Anyway, so, we follow each other, you know, we're still having mutual conversations back and forth. We agreed to hang out on a certain day. I'm not sure which day that was. I actually probably have to sit and think about it, but it was definitely a weekend. It was September 20th. September 20th. You know, it was, like, really fun. There was not much, like, going on. We went to West Edmonton Mall. You know, we went to Galaxyland. Tickets were provided by me. Period. I know my connections. Period. So, yeah. After that, you know, weeks on end, we're still texting. We agreed on a day that he would come over and, like, sleep over. No shade. y'all can call me Easy, because what the fuck, when we were talking. And he came over, and no shade, the activities that took place.
But then he took his shirt off, and I went, like, I actually had, like, my body had a reaction with those
I don't need to know about that. You keep that to yourself.
No shade, I didn't know I could do that, too. Thank you, Twitter. Thank you, Twitter. Because no shade, like, what do you mean? I'm like, hey. And he's also like, hey, up on it. Like, when JT said dance on the dick, that we was both dancing on the dick. Like, what? Period. We wasn't even bumping purses, babes. We were bumping hammers. Clock it! Anyway, so after that, it was definitely like whatever. After that, we were still texting back and forth. Like, it was kind of clear, like, I like this guy or whatever. I was under the impression, like, this guy liked me. But he had also told me, like, yo, like, I'm bisexual and I'm not out. Okay. At least I get that dick, though. Ah! It was kind of clear that me and R kind of, like, liked each other. Well, I was under the impression that R liked me. No shade. We'll get to that. The third time we hung out, he actually came over to my house again. He came over to my house, and it was like really calm. He didn't sleep over this time, but it was definitely a decent hangout. We watched this movie called The Stepdaughter, which was an interesting movie too. I actually have to watch the second one. It was on Tubi though. I don't fuck with Tubi. No shade. I told him that. After that, obviously some activities also occurred again. I'm not going to get into detail about that. Only my homegirls know the details about that, but just know both of us were bumping that. Okay. So that same week, we were still texting, but I felt a little off about something. Like, something was a little off. Like, there was lack of, like, texting. Anytime we were calling, like, no shade, he would go silent, and I was just like, I definitely communicated to my friends about it on maybe 3-4 days after, because I was like, yeah, hey guys, like, this is going on, and they were like, Arel, why didn't you tell us? Oh my, are you okay? Oh my god, Arel, aww. Sister, I love you down, but not too much. Too much ice. Right, so, I definitely communicated about it with him on a Tuesday. I was like, hey, like, is anything wrong? I was like, anything changed? Like, no shit, like, I'm feeling, like, this kind of off, like, energy. He was like, oh, sorry, like, when I tend to like someone, I kind of drift away. Okay. K? Who says K? So, I was like, okay, whatever. We got on FaceTime, we were texting, calling. It was just kind of like, this, not an off energy, but like you could still feel the off energy. Like, things felt normal, but like it was still like this kind of off energy, like off energy. So maybe like anytime we were like texting or calling, like there was kind of like strikes. Like, no shade, whenever I'm like in a talking stage or I'm in a relationship of some sort, like, no shade, in all honesty, whenever, like, you kind of irritate me and I've kind of already communicated with you about, hey, like, this happened, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you again the next day and be like, hey, like, this threw me off. You get strikes. This is baseball, bitch. This is baseball. Strike one. That was our conversation. Because I still felt the negative energy, not the negative energy, the off energy. Strike two was a different conversation. And I feel like we already skipped strike three, and no shade. Strike three. Hold on. So now we're on FaceTime and we're talking about security tags on like products, whatever, in stores or whatever. And I said, if you were to rob a store, if you were to steal something from a store, which is obviously theft, but that's not the point. If you were to steal something from a store and walk out and the thing beeps and you got away with it, you're bound to go in another store and with motion detectors, I think it's called. Not motion detectors, metal detectors, whatever, security tag detectors, it's gonna beep in that store and they're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna need to check your bag, or hey, I just called security, like they're gonna be here in a minute, or whatever, all that shebang. And he was like kind of going back and forth with me, like, are you dumb? That's not how it works, that's not how it works. So I called his sister, I FaceTimed his sister, right? FaceTime his sister to ask her the question because I know she works in a mall. No, I think she works in a mall. I'm not too sure. I'm not about to air her business out. She didn't answer, so I texted her. I'm sending her a voice message. I'm like, so are like the security tags bound to go off? And I think I still got the same fucking voice message in my fucking phone. Hold on. So she was like, yeah, blah 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 blah. But that was after the voice message was sent. During the voice message, he's like, are you dumb? Are you? It's not, you idiot.
What did she say?
Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Cause it's not me, sister. It's not me. You're not talking to me, daughter. Bitch, you didn't even know Solange and Beyonce were related. Don't irritate me. Not the point. So I hung up the phone, right? Whatever, time goes by, maybe like 20, 30-ish minutes. I was like, damn, I can't get mad at him. Like, that's my man right there, even though he doesn't even see me like that. Ah! So before I called him, I was like, let me go look at my man's Instagram. Now get this. I'm going over his highlights. I was like, my man.
My man, my baby, my baby. Making me dance, spoiling me, driving me crazy.
Right? Whole time I'm screaming, my man. I get out of the highlights. I was like, wait a minute. There's a few stories missing out of here. Did he just remove them? Go back. I was like, that's weird. The man removed me from his close friends list.
What?
Okay. So who actually wears the pants in this relationship right here? Because it's not you, sister. That was weird. That was... that was a little weird. No shade. Right? So I texted him about it. And I said... what did I say? I texted him. I said, let me guess. My punishment was being removed from the close friends. Because that was weird. Right? He says, LMAO. I was like, you're good, don't worry. No. He was like, LMAO, you're good, don't worry. I'm just tired, LOL. And I was like, but the close friends removed. I'm low-key not even expecting to be added back. If I was, but I don't know why it would be removed. Low-key, never mind. I don't want to bother you, I can't even bother you about it, I can't even lie. And it's too late for me to unsend anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Right? He put an Instagram note, and he replied, and he was like, I put an Instagram note. It was low-key crazy. The Instagram note said, was that low-key crazy to do? I don't think I got that screenshot in my phone. Not the point. It was like some bullshit like that, and I was like, oh, okay. Mind you, this is now, what day was this? This is Thanksgiving Day now. So now we're having a conversation. I told him straight up, like, no shade, like, I don't even think this is real anymore, like, no shade, like, I get these kind of feelings, like, I get this kind of feeling, like, you're just kind of, like, walking and I'm running. You know, that kind of vibe, like, whatever. Like, I'm here to play the game to win, you're here just to play. Yeah, we're kind of, like, going back and, not kind of going back and forth, but we're not necessarily going back and forth, but, like, no shade, it kind of felt like a back and forth moment looking at the messages right now. So, I asked him the question again. I was like, and this is not even me being upset about being removed, it's just contributing on why I should pop the question. And he's like, yes, but you're popping the same question every time. If you didn't give me reasons to pop the question, maybe we wouldn't be here. Not the point. Clock it. And I was like, what you mean? Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, I said, I mean, how can I not? It's the small things that make me question it. Because I know you're not ready, and just from me even doing small things has me thinking, oh, maybe I'm pressuring him. And he's like every time I do something you say, what you mean by that? As if I'm out to get you with every action. And I was like, I mean, I mean it as in I don't understand. He's like, I'm just confused, man. Well, obviously, now that I'm reading these messages, you low-key dumb as fuck. What you mean, like, every time I do something, you say, what you mean by that? As if I'm out to get you with every action. Sister, if someone doesn't understand something, what are you gonna say? I have a question, like, If you went to the role play, man, take that somewhere else. No ma'am, no ma'am. Too much ice. Too much ice. If you went to the role play, too much ice. The door's there. The door's right there. There's the door, bitch. Not the point. I kind of elaborated on some of my terms, like I use, like whenever I use the word elaborate, like no shade, I like using that word. I love that word so much. I mean, as in like, girl, like I'm gonna need you to explain this, because no shade, I don't understand what the fuck you saying. Right? So that's what I'm kind of telling him in a way. So we were kind of just like kind of going back and forth about this whole thing about like, oh, maybe like this, and he was like, oh, but I don't want to kind of add on to this, like, you got me there, you got me there, you got me there. So now it's kind of like obviously going back and forth, and I kind of expected where it would go, but I kind of like, it was like, damn, like, I don't want to like go like, bitch loves this nigga, like, why, like, babes, he's for the slums, he's DL Trade, why are you crying over him? That's exactly what I did. I cried over him. Why? No shade. Who was gonna be my main eater? Who was gonna be? No, I'm playing. Now maybe a day-ish, or maybe like a weekish goes by, we start FaceTiming again, and I was like, is this us working it out on the remix, Lord Charlie XCX Core? Cause, you know, we're on FaceTime, he's talking about some, oh, you look cute, like, oh, turn around, blah, 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 blah. Some objectification right there, not the point. But that's a different story. Actually, this is the same story. What am I talking about? Like, anytime, no, okay, I have a washroom in my room, or whatever, right? I was like, oh, like, I'm gonna use the washroom, like, let me put my fucking phone back in my room, or whatever. He's like, oh, no, turn it around, leave it in there, blah, 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 blah. You hear the silence, babes? Nobody's gagging. I think that was the same FaceTime, he shaved his pubic hair on FaceTime, or whatever, and I was like, oh, like, you should put my initial there. Why does he put my initial in his on his pubes? Okay, this is Savannah, slow down. I know that's what you're saying. You're like, what? Yeah, sister, when I said we're getting comfortable, this is an open space. But you did say that, though. Clock it. Bitch, I never gotta lie about something. I got a video. Let me shut the fuck up. Not the point. So, he actually does say it, and I was like, oh. Okay. This is a little weird. Maybe like maybe a week goes by. I text him, I was like, so, is this, like, remix cooking? Like, is we working on the remix, nigga? He's like, what you mean? I thought we were friends. Yeah, because totally, I'm just gonna, engrave my closest friend's initial in my pubic hair. I'm gonna engrave the I was just sucking the dick of on my pubic hair. Ooh, that don't make no damn sense, so that doesn't make no damn sense. So now I'm like weirded out. Now I'm like, okay, whatever. No shade, it was a whole conversation, but no shade, I don't got those messages. I don't got those messages because they're on Snapchat. And no shade, the story gets a little more crazy. So after that, I'm really scared for this story to like, I'm really scared to post this video because, okay, you know what, I'm gonna continue. So now it's like now we're inching closer to Halloween, right? I'm studying for, I don't know what I was studying for, but I'm studying. I'm in my bed. I get a notification from Find My saying, oh, ours stopped sharing the location. Would you like to stop sharing yours? I was like, oh, okay. That's weird. I went to Snapchat. Location stopped sharing there. So I was like, hey, question mark, you good, question mark? You good? He's like, yeah, why wouldn't I be? I was like, oh, you stopped sharing your location. He's like, is that a weird thing to do? And I was like, you're right. I see you, king. You go, girl. left me unopened. I was like, actually, you know what? I'm low-key not even gonna entertain this. I'm gonna tell, like, I told him straight up, like, no shade, like, I'm done, like, kind of holding on to strings, kind of get your, trying to achieve, like, kind of bring back what we had in a way. Like, no shade, what do I look like? I'm not an attention seeker. I'm a go-getter. Clock it. I nodded him, removed him everywhere. It was like, fuck, I lost my heater, oh my god! So, mind you, he told me he was going to major Halloween parties and whatnot. The man didn't go nowhere. From what I know. Not the point. So, also, I do want to mention, we did have a conversation on TikTok, which probably could have led to the fact, like, he kind of stopped, like, kind of inched further into kind of stop sharing his location with me. Because on TikTok we were having a conversation. I was like, no, I sent him a TikTok where it was like this guy, the streamer, like saying like, oh, you know what you could do with meta glasses? And the girl was like, record with them. And he was like, oh, 4K back shots. And what was it? Whatever, right? Mind you, that same week I had already ordered my meta glasses, which are somewhere in my backpack somewhere, right? And I sent it to him. I was like, this is gonna be me, LOL, right? Obviously playing. Like, it's okay when I say it, but when he replied to the TikTok, he was like, oh, that's finna be me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I replied to the message and I said, makes sense because you're libidinous, right? And if you're not familiar with the term libidinous, the definition is like legitimately like a person who's out for lust and not love, because that's essentially what vibe I got from that whole situation with him. So I was like, yeah, makes sense because you're libidinous. Clocked. And seeing that we're on the topic of TikTok as well, I do want to mention, the same day we were cutting ties, remember this date, it was Thanksgiving, Canadians Thanksgiving. The same day we were kind of like going back and forth, and like I was saying like I can't do this anymore. He was reposting how many girls on his TikTok. I'm not the type of bitch to lie about something. So, all of them, like, it was a buttload, from what I remember, last time I looked. I know I have a screenshot somewhere, but what do I look like looking at screenshots again? So yeah, that's what I personally feel like led up to that whole thing with whatever. So, after that, I kind of, like, left it alone up until December 8th, I believe? Yeah. December 8th. I was on the phone. No. Okay. Y'all gonna think I'm fucking stupid. Y'all gonna think I'm fucking stupid or fucking delusional. But he posted on his story. I was stalking, obviously. He posted on his story of him in this hoodie or whatever, right? And in the post, the initial says like A, red heart emoji. Hey guys, I'm so sorry, but we, like, no shade. As I'm editing this, I was like, oh, no shade, I need to shut the fuck up. So we definitely cut this short because I don't feel like it's necessary for me to air out someone else's business, but obviously kind of share my story and my side, because I don't expect this person to be like, oh, this and this happened, because no shade, whatever. So yeah, I'm sorry for this video being short. Actually, it's not short. This is like almost 30 minutes, but yeah, I just definitely feel like if someone was watching this, like someone that was remotely close to this person, they were watching this, they would be like, oh, I know that person. That sounds like them. And then it becomes this whole big thing. So I definitely don't want to kind of draw as much attention to it, but I also want to say my truth. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Well, that's in the next clip. But yeah, so sorry. Maybe in like a year, 3-ish months later, you'll probably have that whole story on like an Instagram live or TikTok live or something. Love you guys so much. Deuces. So yeah, that kind of wraps up the entire story. No shade, both of them. But yeah, I do want to mention, I am not here to be like, oh yeah, that did. That sucked my. He did. That rode my. He did. I'm just kind of like explaining my experience. Like, with no shade, that DL trade don't want you, sister. That. Oh. Before I even end this video, I'm on FaceTime with my friend and whatnot, and I was like, yeah, like, no shade, I was just stalking this guy or whatever, right? I mentioned the name. She's like, wait, that name sounds so familiar. Y'all know that name? Y'all know that name? Why did she pull up his Instagram? I was like, oh! Girl, how do you know him? Girl, I talked to him. I rejected him. Yeah, we had like a shared pet or whatever called Pelvius. Okay. Why did she follow that up with saying, yeah, as soon as I rejected him, he ended up popping out with a new girl 2 days later. Okay. Kissing each other too. Matching pajamas. Okay. It's a weird set over here. It's a weird set. Okay. Wow. And then I told her, hey, yeah, sister, like, he low-key talked to your best friend too. Ooh! So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed this first kind of part of the story. Well, not even first part, like, that story's done with. Like, we just finished that up, period. But there's definitely more DL trade to come. And more stories to tell, so, yeah. See y'all on the next video. No shade. I do low-key want to film something next week. But anyway, deuces. Love y'all down. Bye-bye.